Alright guys, I'm honestly shook right now. I thought it was going to be a pretty boring trade deadline, and then in the final hour, Steve Yzerman makes a blockbuster deal, trading Anthony Mantha to the Washington Capitals for Jakub Vrana, Richard Panik, 2021 first, and a 2022 second. This one took me by surprise. I didn't think, we were going to trade Mantha, especially at the end of a deadline day where really not much happened. I know one thing's for sure, Ken Holland would have never made this trade. Steve Yzerman, I respect him. He's got the guts to go out there, make a splash, try and make his team better. I love that. I prefer that to just, not doing much and hoping over time the team's going to get better. He actually tries to make a move here, and it's a big one. My initial thoughts looking at this trade, I do think the Red Wings win this one, but it still hurts trading away Anthony Mantha, as he was probably my second favorite player on the Red Wings behind Dylan Larkin. I also think, Mantha's going to do very well in the Washington Capitals, better than he did with Detroit, as he's got guys like Ovechkin, Karlsson, Kuznetsov, Backstrom, real stars to play with. Around Detroit, all he had was Larkin, and Larkin's probably not as good as the four guys I just mentioned. So I think Mantha might pop off on Washington. Now in return, we get Jakub Vrana, who's a very solid player. He's actually a year or two younger than Mantha. In game here, it shows him 24 years old. You can see he's 84 overall, role second line forward, medium top six potential. You guys look at his stats, 52 points, 69 games last year, 47, 27. Looks like he's probably going to be a 50-point guy. Now, as I mentioned with Mantha probably being better on Washington, playing with those stars, I do wonder if Vrana will regress a little bit playing with the Red Wings, but I think that's why we got the first and second round pick, because I think both GMs know Mantha, 1 for 1 is probably the better player. Vrana's close, and apparently they figured the first and second made up for how close they were, which seems like a lot to me, which is why I think the Red Wings won this trade. If it was, say, Vrana and a second for Mantha, I don't know if I really like that, but with the first, I definitely do. Especially, Washington, if they're a first-round exit, that's a mid-first round pick in a really wide-open draft. That player could end up being the best player in the draft. I think I mentioned that with the Foligno trade video. You can see there, $3.255 million for 1 more year. So he is going to need a raise. Now, he also took back Richard Panik in this trade, because I saw some people seeing it as like an extra add-on, but it was actually the opposite. 100% a cap done for Washington. You can see in games, 29 years old, 79 overall, and he's making just over $2.5 million. For them, they were definitely, trying to shed that cap. They have Hagelin making the same amount of money. They're pretty similar players, and like I mentioned with Vrana needing a raise, I feel like Vrana and Panik together next year are definitely going to cost more than Mantha, so Washington actually saves a bit of money with this trade. I do also think, like I said, they get a slightly better player in Mantha than Vrana, but very expensive price to do so. 2021 first and a 2022 second. I mean, that is a lot to give up. You can see the only thing that's actually on the block on their side is the second round pick. Now, of course, the choice of Anthony Mantha, who the Washington Capitals want. 25 years old today. He's 1 year older. Same rating, 84 overall. Now, in-game, Mantha's medium elite, Vrana's medium top 6. They have him making $6 million for the next 4 years in-game. I think that's because Detroit's under the salary floor minimum. He's actually only making, I think, 5.7, or 5.7 exactly. I'll show you guys his stats quickly here. They're very similar to Vrana's. Like, last year, 38 and 43, almost a point per game. The year before that, 48. Same with the year before that. 25 goals each year. I think definitely Mantha's a bit more of a goal scorer than Vrana is. And again, he's doing this on a very bad Red Wings team. I think that's something a lot of people aren't really accounting for. Now it says we'd actually be over the max amount of players. So I had somebody that doesn't really matter on our side. Again, like I mentioned, even though it hurts losing Mantha, I bet you Yzerman heard this offer and just couldn't refuse it, as it is way too good. So medium difficulty, no way Washington says yes. I'm looking at the values here. Yeah. In-game, like in real life, EA feels the Red Wings won this trade. And, I mean, even if Vrana regresses to like a 40-point guy, as long as we get a decent play with that first-round pick, I think we're winning this trade. So after that trade, guys, here's what the Red Wings lines might look like when healthy. First line there, I have Vrana, Larkin, and Zadina. I figured why not go with a bit of the Czech connection. Both Zadina and Vrana from Czech Republic. Larkin in the middle. We got Fabry on the second line with Mesnikov and Bertuzzi. Ryan, Gagne, Panik on the third, and then Helm, Glendening, Ernie on the fourth. A lot of talk about Glendening getting traded, but didn't happen. I thought, he might go for a first-round pick. Everyone talking about how good he is in the face-off circle. Cholowski, definitely getting the call-up now. Hronik, Stetcher, DeKaiser, Stahl, and Juice. Goaltending, we still have both Bernier and Grice. Looking at the team, though, we have Larkin, and that's still about it, I think, for, like, your top-end players. We need Raymond to come in, make an impact. We need Rasmussen to finally make the team and, show why he was a 9th overall pick. Joe Velino's got to do something. Svechnikov has looked decent, actually, when he's been playing in NHL. Sider's got to come over. We need some of these young players, basically, to start making this team and start to make us a bit more competitive. Maybe even Yzerman get lucky in free agency. If you could sign somebody like Dougie Hamilton, like a real impact player, that would be huge for us. So you can see Vrana, already third best player on this team. I mean, it's a pretty like even wash, obviously, with Mantha, both 84. They're probably gonna be playing, you know, similar position. And right here's you guys first look at Jakub Vrana as a Detroit Red Wing. I feel like his game face is okay. They got him wearing number 13 there. Again, I'm excited. I think, you know, he could hopefully do good in Detroit. Again, if he does as good in Detroit as he did in Washington, then that's all I can ask for. I really doubt he's going to do better, but one thing that someone did point out to me is the fact that he wasn't averaging much ice time on the Capitals, so even though he's playing with better players, they really weren't using him as much as he could have been used, so maybe, you know, those two things will kind of even out. Worse players on Detroit, but more ice time. He'll produce the exact same, and like I said, in that case, I'm very happy. So I'm going to try this trade from Washington's perspective, guys. Mantha is not on the block for Detroit. No surprise there. Again, he's probably top 5 most valuable players on Detroit. It's definitely like Larkin, Raymond, Zadina, Mantha, Bertuzzi. I feel like that's probably the 5, unless I'm like missing somebody obvious. Vrana, Detroit wants. Okay, that's interesting. Again, Richard Panik's the lowest valued player. Right there at that time, it actually shows Hagelin. First round pick 2021 on the block, and the 2022 second, or sorry, Detroit wants all these things. Again, we're just going to ask back like the least valued player with a cap hit that's irrelevant. So I think, who was it last time? Kushkulo? I think it was him. So, yeah, Irishman's looking at this, probably like in real life, thinking, okay, yeah, that seems like a pretty fair deal. Again, Mantha's actually making 5.7. Vrana's going to get a raise. Vrana's probably going to get paid in the 5 to 6 range on Detroit. So basically Washington sheds Panik contract. Plus, like I said, I think Mantha really could go off on Detroit. Of course, Irishman does say yes to this one. So like most people feel in real life, like I feel, EA definitely thinks Detroit won this one. Now, if Mantha really goes off in Washington, to make Washington win this trade, he'd literally have to put up about a point per game, I think, while Vrana's only getting like, you know, 40 to 50. And even then, I don't think it's that bad a trade. After the trade, guys, just an update look at the Capitals lines. This is based on what I'm seeing online. Ovechkin, Kuznetsov, Wilson's that first line. Sprong playing with Backstrom and Mantha on the second line. Honestly, if this is what they do for the second line with Mantha, I could see him playing very well. He's a shooter. You guys can see in-game good shot, real life. He likes to shoot the puck. I know one of the last Red Wings games I went to, he had like 4 goals. So the guy knows how to score, and he's playing with Backstrom, which is an insane playmaker. So that could honestly be a dynamic duo. Third line, Sherry, Eller, Oshie, which isn't bad at all. Hathaway, Dowd, Hagelin on the fourth line is also decent defensively. I feel like, you know, they're pretty solid there, led by Carlson, good depth. They got Chara. Goaltending, they got Samsonov, they got Vanacek. I think this is a good team. So as much as I'd like, you know, them to get knocked in the first round, us to get like, you know, pick 17, 18 in the first round, I feel like Washington's going to be a pretty good team. I guess they're in a tough division though. Either they're going up against the Boston Bruins, who just added Taylor Hall. By the way, I'll have a video out on that later today. The Islanders, who added Palmieri Zajac. The Penguins already have Crosby, added Jeff Carter. Like, that whole division is basically getting ready here for a bloodbath in the playoffs. So Anthony Mantha on the Washington Capitals. I didn't think I'd ever see this, I'm not going to lie. So this is going to hurt. Unless he has a bad game face, and it won't matter too much. Kind of looks like Anthony Mantha. You can see he's a big guy as well, 6'5". Maybe him and Tom Wilson sort of like Bash Bros over in Washington. Although Mantha, I think, is a bit less of a hitter, more of a scorer, but still. There you go. So, like I said, as great as a return it is, it's still, you know, a bit bittersweet for me seeing one of my favorite players get traded. But that's me, it, guys, for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a thumbs up. As always, let me know in the comment section which team you think won the trade. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, hit that sub button. Like I said, Taylor Hall video will be out later today. It happened like at midnight or something last night, so it was weird trying to decide when to upload that. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.